Okay, so today I'm going to be looking at a horror series, and last time it hilariously failed. I was looking for one and I saw the name like Evil Lives Here, right? And I thought, oh, that must be a horror series, so I just randomly chose it. And then it turns out to be, again, it's dealing with horrific subject matter, but it's like, about killers, like living with a killer, and it turned into some kind of other format, like the elitist victim blamer thing where I'm talking shit about her, like, yes, he might be a bad guy, but it's your fault too for like staying with him for this long and like sort of being an apologist and delusional that you keep defending all his flaws and mistakes and all the red flags. So here it's going to be the Lovecraft horror or Lovecraft country, which again, I don't know whether these, like, maybe I'm not a good judge of what a horror series would be. Right, because you would think, oh, dealing with Lovecraft must be, but what if it's just like supernatural and it's just like a thriller kind, not actually horror, but whatever, I'll count it. So what I'm actually going to do, there were two formats I thought of doing with this, right? One would be like with horror series in general, like how I was doing with comedy. I'll watch until an episode fails to make me laugh. I'm going to do the opposite here, right? Or the same thing here, and then with another one, I'll do something else. So in other words, I'll watch this until an episode fails to scare me. So that's one format. So like if I don't get jump scared or legitimately scared in some way, I have to flinch back. It has to be like a real, genuine, uncontrollable thing. And of course the disadvantage is I'm more so listening than watching, but it could be like a jarring sound. It could be, I'm still kind of looking at it, but whatever, it'll scare me so much I get in a crash, because I always do these while driving. And hopefully I'll get one of those mics soon, but I had ordered a lavalier mic, but then it doesn't work with this fucking thing, the Sony whatever recorder I have, so that's the problem. But no, you're basically in a position where you're able to, I'll do this format this time, so it'll be like, I'll watch until an episode fails to scare me, which probably will be this one, because, try not to get scared challenge kind of a thing, and I'm normally not scared by things anyway, and it might not even be, once again, we might strike out with the genre, or it might not truly be all that scary. But then the other format I'll do later on that I thought about doing with this too is I'll watch until it scares me, and then if I get scared, then I stop watching. But the problem with that is I'll probably end up watching this whole fucking show, the whole season at least, before I ever get scared. So let's do it the other way, where it's a higher. So with the Big Bang Theory for a comedy, that we're just sort of introducing these formats, right? I'm watching the Big Bang Theory for the first time until an episode failed to make me laugh, right? So then we got to episode 2 and it failed to make me laugh, so it's over. Then this one is going to be, I'm going to watch until an episode fails to scare me, and then again, we could do that later with something else, like with another comedy, we could instead do, I'll watch until I laugh. So if I laugh, then I stop. Maybe I'll alternate like this. So the next comedy I'll do is I'll watch until it makes me laugh. So if I laugh legitimately one time, I stop watching. And then the same thing with the next horror series. If I get scared one time, then I stop watching. So this first set of formats with this series is going to be watch a comedy until an episode fails to make me laugh at least once. So Big Bang Theory lasted 2 episodes. Now this will be watching a horror series until an episode fails to scare me, which I'm sure will be this one. So, oh, you know what? I'm going to reconsider then. Fuck me. It's an hour and 8 minutes, which there's no way I could possibly watch that in this time. Why is it so hard to find fucking horror stuff? I guess I can watch like just scary videos overall, like on YouTube, but now I'm not even sure. Like, let's just turn it into some sort of other random thing. Fuck, man, I see, this is the problem with going in things kind of blind and not planning it out. I didn't know whether it even was a series last time. Now it's going to be too long. I guess it doesn't mean I have to watch the whole thing in one shot, but effectively, I should do that. So, I don't know, I can't really even change it now. Maybe this will just be another interlude where I consider. But no, those are at least good formats to do, and the problem is, even if I start now, it's going to be almost too late. But no, that was almost an adequate intro. But no, I got baited. I guess I won't watch. Maybe I will, but it's not fair, because you got to kind of watch it in one shot. But some of these are long, like even the Sopranos episode, which is the other series that I'm watching, and that's like a main ongoing one. So I do that every other day, and then I do one of these weird formats and my thing's falling off too. Like, this is just fucking stupid. Okay, so you know what? Maybe I will watch this one anyway. So we can split it up like in two parts. But the real challenge is I'll watch till this stupid thing falls off again because for some reason this thing just is very inconsistent. My other one broke. I think a lot of it has to do with the horizontal angle that I'm putting it at. And the stupid is like an air vent one, but it doesn't entirely work. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. HBO Max logo there. So, yeah, we'll watch like half of it now and then the rest of it the next time, which will be actually not tomorrow, but the day after, just whatever. But we'll see how scary this really is, which I don't expect it to really be. This reminds me of Amnesia: The Bunker, this kind of setting for they'll be fighting a war and they'll accidentally find some kind of Cthulhu creature, I don't know, or they're just probably just watching a movie in the show. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. It's apparently only one season, which almost might imply it's not that good, because whenever something is good, they've kind of milked the shit out of it. But I'm a big fan of Lovecraftian type creatures and the way they look and things like that. I've always liked that. Not that I even really find them scary, I just find them kind of interesting, like the already seeing like some alien UFO shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but like in the Warcraft universe, there's like these old gods who are kind of based on the Lovecraft universe, and I love that too. Like Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, I'll make some references to that. They do a pretty good job of sort of extrapolating on that. It's kind of quiet for me, a little bit so, compared to most of the things I watch. Literally starting off right away with some sort of Lovecraftian thing. Baseball, I don't know what the fuck is going on, dude. You got a hot chick, you got a baseball guy, you got the Cthulhu monster, I don't know what's going on. He's gonna kill it with a bat. I fail to understand what the fuck is going on there. I was almost hoping that would be how the show would be, like just zany and over the top, like fucking crazy. But no, that wasn't scary at all, the intro. It's just, it was just kind of whatever. Again, they can be cool to look at, but I wasn't remotely scared there. They're going to end up in some... You know what the best horror series probably are is like anthology series, even though I don't think of the Twilight Zone as that. It's just like we're episodic, where everything... it starts with a fresh story every time. So some of Twilight Zone's episodes could be like that. Or like Alfred Hitchcock Presents could be like that. So I feel like it works better that way. It's hard to tell like a ongoing story where there's scares like every single episode. You got some kind of Scooby-Doo type thing, but more serious. Like you're like Monster Hunter, like whatever, detectives or something. So you keep finding like different supernatural type stuff. This looks kind of shady, even in a sense of not even the Cthulhu element. It could just be they're trying to kidnap you or something. I don't even know. Or like how does the back of the bus rule work here if they're applying to that? Like if you're in the back of the wagon and whatever. I don't know if they weren't welcome or they just didn't feel like they wanted to go on there. Oh, here we go, Robert E. Lee, dude. Robert E. Lee is the GOAT, even though he's whatever. People will say that, like, don't. Oh, you'll get to now, though. He's gone missing, and you'll have to do some monster hunting to find him, I guess. Aside from that dream sequence at the beginning, it doesn't seem anything crazy. You know, nothing about that scene was like that. That's like a real world setting. So we'll have to see how it segues into that. They're kind of foreshadowing it almost with like the book that he's reading, right? Like, oh, he'll find like a portal to another dimension or something. This is an interesting subtext to it, the whole race element that they're bringing this into it. I wasn't expecting that. Like, what is it trying to do? Copy Get Out? Like, where, oh, you have to praise it because it's about that subject, even though the movie isn't that good and it got way overrated. Like, as an actual just horror movie, overall story, it's not that good. Not enough time in bed specifically, not just with her, period. George Freeman. Rather have George Foreman in here. Alright, don't do the girls thing now where you're relying too much on sex. Or go together then. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. That name, I mean, look, dude. People always get offended with stuff like that too. Like, oh, you know, different cultures have different names, but every culture has simple names and complicated names. Like, there'll be John, and then there'll be whatever. Penelope is a little harder, right? There'll be different ones. Every society is going to have short names and long names and easy names and difficult names. So it's not really a cultural thing. Okay, enough of this shit, dude. This is why the episode's an hour, 8 minutes long. I don't care about this, dude. It's supposed to be scary, not just fucking whatever, dude. Nothing remotely scary is whatever. I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but that is the challenge. Like, unless it scares me genuinely, right? You got to be honest about it. I'm not going to pretend like it didn't if it did, because you can't see like my facial reaction or whatever. You might hear me gasp or something. at least with the laugh, you could kind of maybe hear it in like The Big Bang Theory. So we got one laugh in episode 1, and that was it. And it has to be like a genuine, uncontrollable thing. It's not just like, oh, you smile, smirk, or whatever. Even here, if you get like a little uncomfortable, like, oh, I feel uneasy. No, it has to actually be like not really even a jump scare, but like something genuinely scary. Which is very hard to do. I'm trying to think in the whole history of my life, watching anything, when have I been scared by something? And I almost can't think of an example. Like, was that supposed to be a jump scare? Just him, like, outside the window? Are you fucking serious, dude? But I like the routine that I've gotten into with this a little bit. How I'm doing it, every other day or every day, some kind of series. The only thing really wrong with the setup now is that you have this stupid-ass background noise of the car, which is okay with me. It's kind of almost just an ambiance to it. But it's not the best. And then, of course, the mic, I could get maybe a better mic. Safe Negro travel. Or is that just what they want you to think? I mean, there's going to be something, Even I was being all suspicious at the beginning, like, oh, it's a trap. Like, they're going to try to send you away or kidnap you or something right when they break down the truck. The Outsider and Others. He loves stuff to do with space, it seems like, more than anything. Or is this going to be like a cursed book that kind of sends him somewhere in and of itself? Going to get his chance to play the hero and deal with monsters to try to rescue his dad. Oh, you're gonna take it like literally. Just learn how to read, dude. Just learn how to read, and it would solve all your problems. Look, dude, it's up to the show. I'm not even against watching it, or I'll be forced to watch it if it scares me. Right? That's the point. That's why I almost don't want to do the other format, because then I'm forced to watch it anyway. Like, I'll never get scared, so I'll have to watch the whole thing, right? That's not right. I wanted to watch, like, American Horror Story, but it wasn't on this thing. or like, if you watch until you laugh, so it's almost like you're punishing it for being funny. Like, it's a good thing if it's funny, but it's like I'm not even trying not to laugh challenge, but just assuming I won't or whatever. It's like some sort of a failure state, like a permadeath sort of a thing. I didn't even catch exactly what time period this is supposed to take place in. Like, you can kind of guess, but I don't know, actually. But yeah, this is like almost, they tried to copy Get Out with that element. I'm not even being a dick about it, but this is like you're going through a lot of trouble to set up the premise, which I can respect, but I don't know what to make of it, really. Doesn't mean I'm not appreciating the story otherwise, but like, it's gonna be this series is gonna make me laugh more than a comedy. Imagine that. So let's see how far we are into it. Still not too far, but it is really long. Now I don't know if that's like for the first episode only length, or if that's like for that's just always how it is. Like some series are like that. Like a season intro or finale will be super long, like a special, and then the normal episode length will be different. But no, I do dislike that implication. Not that I'm accusing everything like that. If you deal with that subject matter, it doesn't mean you're doing that, but that's almost what I get from Get Out. It's like, oh, it gets this sort of protection and almost special treatment that, oh, because it deals with a sensitive subject of such and such, you therefore can't criticize it. Like, let me make a horror movie in the Holocaust, but it has to do with more than just the horrors of the Holocaust. There's like monsters and stuff, but like, oh, you can't criticize, like Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth was the original Get Out, even whatever, like. I mean, hey, it's up to the show whether it wants to be scary or not, but I mean, I'm not saying it's got to be constant jump scares or anything either, but you got to at least show me, like, I guess they tease you a little bit at the beginning. I shouldn't be so impatient to expect it, but all this stuff probably isn't going to interest me too much, like, all this character element, like, okay, but so what? Like, if you're watching for the story or the drama or the characters, then probably you would be better off just watching a different kind of series. I haven't seen any of the big name series, like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, anything. Walking Dead parts 1 million, 1 through 1 million. I'll watch about a half an hour, and then we'll save the rest for next time. So if it's an hour and 8, we'll get to like 34 minutes, I guess. Which that in itself I don't like doing either, but let's just see what the introduction to the Cthulhu element actually is. So we've had sex scenes and we have fucking musical scenes. Like, where's the horror, dude? Where's the scares? You gotta realize you're on life support, bruh. This is like a real life standard. If you don't scare me, I'm not gonna watch, dude. The sad part is in any sort of singing scene, even if the actress or actor who's doing the singing supposedly is actually doing the singing for real, they still aren't, because they'll be, you know what I mean? They won't be doing it live, and then most of the time they're not singing it at all. It's somebody else. They're just, lip singing it anyway. But where's your Diane Keaton from Annie Hall? We don't have to see the whole fucking song, dude. We get the point. Oh, here we go, another one. I even said we don't need to hear the whole song, but we don't need another one. Don't need a handout, but I want to live for free with you. That's a handout in a form. Everybody just recognizes him. At least she's being firm. Yeah, I don't want a handout, so there, you're not getting a handout. I love how she says that so bold-faced, too. Like, oh no, I don't want a handout, I just want to live with you. Like, what the fuck? Okay, then pay rent, at least, then it won't be a handout. It's just a little too quiet, even though it's on max volume and I'm using my little Bluetooth headphone compared to like the other series at least that I watched. But no, American Horror Story was what I wanted. This is gonna be kind of dumb. You're going after him, like this wasn't what this is all about. Like, you just now figure out he's going after him. What the fuck else do you think he's doing? Ominous music we got on the subtitles. I can't really see what it is. We got a little glare and it's whatever, but the father's going to be the MacGuffin device that we go for the whole show, I guess, maybe. I like when shows do that somewhat, but they sometimes milk it. Like, the whole story is about this one thing, and everything happens in the context of trying to chase that one thing, like whatever it might be. Ed and Al trying to get their bodies back in Full Metal Alchemist, or whatever. Patrick Jane trying to get revenge on Red John, or something. So whatever happens, you're always trying to do that. But you don't have to rely on it either, so like, or, at some point you will find him, and then, he'll help you, and you'll try to do something else, save the world from some other Cthulhu invasion or some shit. A lot of quiet scenes with no dialogue, which makes it perfect for reaction purposes at least. That's the difference between a show like Sopranos and a show like Girls, where Sopranos does give you those breaks, whereas Girls was just non-stop talking. So I had no choice really but to talk over it at times. Because I like to do everything in sort of long form, where I won't just say some simple, it just kind of maybe ramble on a bit, but you have like more long form takes, and of course the whole point of doing this is to not pause it. And the reason why you don't pause it is so that you're able to actually like the fuck is this long ass number, dude? Like, South Korea? How the hell did we end up in South Korea? How would they know it's him even? Oh wow, so scary. Creepy voice on the phone and you just hang up. Like, what is this, dude? Like, it's not even like, oh, you're desensitized. It's just more like, you gotta do better than some of these basic things. Give me a jump scare at least. Not saying I'll be jump scared by it. Treating it like it's a fucking party. I don't know, like, this is just not what I was expecting. Maybe I wanted there to be a little bit more emphasis on the whole, I get it. It doesn't have to be like a one trick with the genre, but if you're gonna do it, then do it. Like, it's gonna be the worst of both worlds. I won't find it interesting, nor will I find it scary. It's hard to follow even what's going on, like who's talking right now. Okay, that's about halfway, so we'll stop there, but perfect time for the phone to fall out too, because it was holding up pretty well for a while there. Okay, so today I'm going to be watching the second half of episode 1 of Lovecraft Country. I wasn't really enjoying the first episode too much, and this is part of the sort of challenge that, see, even if I don't enjoy it, I'd still keep watching it. But the point is, the challenge is it has to scare me at least once per episode, so that we've been sort of alternating these other series. One day I do my main series, which right now is The Sopranos, then the next day I do some other random series. So at one point it was a comedy, like, I'll watch until an episode fails to make me laugh. So that was The Big Bang Theory. Now we're watching this until it fails to scare me for an episode. So, then we'll go back, we'll do another comedy after this. And so I was thinking also of some other format, like, of doing these similar ones, like instead of until it fails to make me laugh, I'll watch until it makes me laugh. So maybe that's the next one I'll do. So tomorrow I'll do, like the alternates, I'll do Sopranos, but then the day after that, assuming this won't scare me, which it doesn't seem like it will, even though I am a fan of like Lovecraft type things, like, whatever, the visuals, they kind of showed something at the beginning, but it doesn't really seem like it's even trying to be that scary. It's getting caught up in all this racial element and stuff that I didn't know was going to be such a big part of it. The Get Out effect, I guess I'll call it, of the modern day, that somehow, whatever, they sort of latch on to stuff like that. But, what do you call it? Yeah, so the next comedy we can do, we'll watch it until it makes me laugh. Which the thing with that is it can take like the whole fucking show to do that. Or then I'll watch until an episode, until I get scared, right? Whereas this one would be, I'll watch until an episode fails to scare me, right? So it's staying on life support. So there's two different ways to do it. So far we've done Big Bang Theory, it failed to make me laugh in episode 2, so we stopped watching. So this one I assume is going to fail to make me to make me scared here. But if it doesn't, I'm not, rooting against it. It wasn't particularly compelling so far. But if it does scare me, then I'll watch the next episode, obviously the day after tomorrow. So, but this was quite a long first episode too, like an hour plus, so there's no way I could have finished it. So we're at 37:30, minus 37:30 in 3, 2, 1. There we go. And so we have some like narration going on in the background. I don't know exactly what it even is. And it's also kind of too quiet. Some kind of metaphysical speech going on. I don't know what it's about. Even the show has to cut him off because he's just going on and on, dude. Holy shit. It could be more like almost a mystery type show. That's what I would think of. Anthology type thing. Like every episode we were investigating a new case. Almost like Scooby-Doo. We're like paranormal investigators, but it's actually not really going to be like that either. But that's maybe one of the best formats to use for a horror show to justify why we're getting into something scary the next time. I want to see one like about a serial killer, like a police procedural type thing. Like give me Red John, but from a horror perspective, that you're, potentially one of his victims and you're hiding from him and he's always creeping around, but in the context of a show, not a movie. I feel like that would be good. Like it's one killer, the same killer the whole time. And you're both trying to catch him and avoid being killed by him at the same time. Getting some weird looks already, maybe just because of the other element. The racial element. But again, we've seen 1,000 stories with that element in it, so we need something, give us something unique and fresh with the Cthulhu monsters. Like, there's been half an hour plus without any of them. You showed me one at the beginning, like, that's what we're here for. Or give me a scare, or give me something. It doesn't have to be a jump scare, but... What the fuck, it fell down. I'll still let it keep going, but I mean, this is bullshit, dude. This fucking thing can't stay up. So everything's gonna be weird about this town. Everybody's gonna be like a imposter or something, or wouldn't be able to tell the difference between that and just the normal scorn that they have for you because of, in this case, because of your race, right? Could be some other reason, like, oh, there's monsters on the loose, that's why we're so uncomfortable, not because of anything else. Gonna make it seem like I'm texting because it's like in my lap now, so I'm not really even watching it now at all. So if something scary does happen, I'll miss it. This is the safety measure we have. This fucking stand is garbage, though. It'll stay up for so long, and then one random time it'll just do that. Like, it makes no sense. Yeah, it's not even trying to be scary. Like, give me something to work with here, dude. I know it's not going to work anyway, so it's just kind of given up because it knows I'm watching it, but this is kind of dumb. Not that that's the only thing you should be looking for, but quite frankly, I was kind of trying to give it a chance, but hey, if it's just not even going to try, then I guess it's over after this one. 30 whatever minutes is left, so I didn't even pause it. But some of these that are like an hour long are too hard to watch, right? Because I like to do it in one shot, but... At least some action is happening. Like just something like the first 30 or so minutes of that were very slow and uneventful. So you could say it's introducing everything, but yeah, this is the most scuffed out of ever, though, with everything. Pretty much the main thing that's scuffed is either this thing keeps falling, or the fact that I need like a lavalier mic too for this recorder, which none of them seem to really work. You need like a special kind, I guess. Yeah, this is a pretty well-rated show, I guess, is how I found it, but, like, what are the best horror shows? And this one showed up. What was it, directed by Jordan Peele, dude? As if such a thing you should have monopoly over from a creative standpoint. Like, you can kind of see the outline of that, like, oh, this thing's getting special treatment for that reason. Like, look, anybody can make a story about any subject, anything, but I feel like Get Out got a lot. Like, really, if Get Out was just about the same story of, like, you move in with the family and that, whatever, you're staying with the girlfriend's family and they're weird and they try to kill you and stuff or imprison you and whatnot, but you take away the race element, would it have been as well received? Of course not. Like, a lot of it relies on that, or somehow it's almost overusing that. Mysterious woman there. I can't even really see it now on top of everything else, so it's kind of hard to follow this, but that was at least a hectic action scene, which is not supposed to be an action show either, but just sort of a bland first episode. I don't think I would have enjoyed it unless I'm forced to watch it now by the fact of the thing. Okay, let me try to reattach it now. They're giving you a lot of good lore and stuff that could be interesting for later, but so fucking stupid though. I can't figure out what exactly makes it stay. You could say it's like how you drive, but I do like what could be interpreted as like a detective element almost, so like it'll be a mystery as much as it's a horror, but you got to give us something more to work with. You gotta have product placement even there. Oh, so you mean you don't mind running up his bill, you just want to talk to somebody else? Fucking bitch. Weren't they having a big thing about this before, where she wanted to go and then he wouldn't let her? Something like that at the beginning? But there won't be a next time. Heartfelt moment. That means this guy's gonna die. George Foreman, more like it. That'll be my nickname for him. How funny. This guy is a boxer. I don't fucking know. I'm not particularly interested in this, but I'm not rating it based on that. I'm rating it based on, give me a fucking scare and I'll give you another chance, but you almost don't deserve it. It's just like it's bogged down with introducing stuff, exposition, hokey stuff, but like, where is the actual thing? Where is the episodic formula? Even though you could say, oh, it doesn't need to have an episodic formula, but it could be like, you know, how is this going to last a whole season? So it's well received, but it's only one season long. So was that by choice, or was that just because that's all they had to tell? Or a lot of things that were intended to be movies now in this day and age became shows. Like The Last of Us was supposed to be a movie, but then they said, fuck it, we'll make a show. It's just more cost effective or something. That's kind of a big thing. Oh, you're going to throw that in my face. Like how in King of Queens you forgot to do the fridge warranty. No, you fucking missed your mother's funeral. That's kind of a deserved thing to throw back in your face. Fuck. No, you're going to keep throwing the fact that I missed my mom's funeral. You're just a dick. That's so unfair. It's not like that's a big deal or something. He's a bit of a freedom fighter type or something, I don't know. That is a good point, though. Propaganda through whatever, sense of honor. Sounds like he's a bit of a clown. Why not just ask you? Use your old generation to justify another, like, oh, I had it worse than you, so therefore it's okay that I treat you badly. I love that mentality of like a defeatist thing. Good thing that argument ended as soon as your conversation ended. How convenient. How dare you use my money to bail out people for your freedom fighting cause, which is totally fair because at least be honest about it. Maybe I would help you, but it's the principle that you didn't ask or tell me what it's for. Why you gotta lie? Then why should I believe that's what you even did with it either? Right? Maybe you're a drug addict. You got some drugs with it. I don't fucking know. Bro, what the fuck is this show? Like, what the fuck are you showing? This is not what a pilot is for, bro. They need a pilot tutorial. Pilots are supposed to intrigue you and keep you hooked in the series, which this is not doing at all, bro. Like, I just wanted to get over with. Fuck this shit, dude. It's not gonna scare me. It's gonna put me to sleep. This is a garbage pilot. This sucks, dude. It's trash. Maybe the show's not bad, but this is so slow paced, like, it's just dumb. There's not. Give me the. What is it actually about, dude? Devon County, ominous music. What's gonna happen here? Nothing. Just like everywhere else. Like, fuck, dude. You can say, oh, I'm not following it, but like, give me something substantial. Yeah, aren't you worried about gas money? How rich is this guy, dude? Gas was cheap back then, but money was worth less too. Yeah, now we might get a scare because you're out in the woods. There is no tomorrow. Take that as a lesson from Apollo Creed, should be one of your heroes. We see like a car in the background coming up, which is not scary at all because where is the Cthulhu monster? It's just probably a person. He looks just so fed up. What are they, cops or something? They're pretending like... Yeah, cop. Bathroom break in the woods, I can... Yeah, why is that a rule? Only after sundown. You can do whatever you want until then. Better hope you don't have constipation. It's not like you have to leave by then. You just don't have to piss. He's being a little ominous, but still not too much. Okay, dude, you're pushing it now. He wasn't even being smart. He's just asking, dude. Because you're being so particular. Bro, you're doing a bit too much. You're so fucking stupid, bro. That cop is a clown, dude. What are you proving? You're so cool, bro. Abuse of power. Like, this is what I mean, bro. Like, fuck this guy, dude. He's showing off a little bit too much. Like, Wait, they never said if you find you. Why do you have to? He only said, I'm so confused. He only said that if you pee in the woods after sundown, I'll arrest you. Not if you're simply here after sundown. What, you just can't be in the county at all after sundown? They never said that. I don't know what the fuck that means. If I found you pissing in the woods, I would have to arrest you after sundown. He never said if you just exist in the area. I thought they said they'd be out of here just because. Oh wow, so scary. You're getting harassed by a cop. Police brutality. Just another day in NA in the modern day, am I right? What the fuck are you doing, bro? You're such a clown. Yeah, really good, nice cop, dude. Nice one. The modern day NA cop's hero, am I right? So what, after you leave the county, you just can't... I'm so confused, dude. The way they set this up makes no fucking sense. So a sundown county means you just can't be in there after sundown. Wow, cool. Not the fact that, you can't piss in the woods after that. Or whatever. You can't be out in the out in the wild, or I don't know what it means. After sundown, you just can't do anything, apparently. You cannot even be there. Just, you can't exist there. I don't know if that's because they're of the race issue or just generally. I don't understand at all. He's already fucking ramming your car, though. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, you're taking it so literally. You're making it seem like something scary happens here at night after sundown. That's why it's a sundown county, but you won't realize that fact yet. So what, now the guy just gives up? At least that guy's a man of his word. He meant what he said. Yeah, you got nothing better to do than that with fucking taxpayer money of the time. Okay, that was like a contrived moment. They're trying to cover something up happening in this county at night or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And when it gets dark, there's kind of a glare where I can't even see anything, so. You'd have some kind of ID or some kind of registration that would show. As if you would need his permission? Is that why you're bothered? Oh yeah, just wolves, as if that's not a threat. Don't be worried about a wolf in the middle of the night in the dark. It's totally not going to kill you or something. Oh no, it's just a bear. Oh no, it's just a tiger. Oh no, it's just a cheetah. What the fuck? Like, you wouldn't be worried about that? So now we get like a little jump scare-ish moment, which didn't scare me at all because you're kind of almost expecting it. I can't really see exactly what's happening, but so they'll get saved by these things, which they didn't seem to be aware of. It's not like that's what they were looking for. They were looking for somebody to do with a with the robberies of some kind. At least that you had a potential to be scary, but it really just wasn't even. I'm not even trying to hate on it, but like, we were watching for one particular reason, and yeah, like what would even get me though? Like slow brooding fear, but then at what point would that count as actually being scared? Or would it be like a jump scare? Could potentially get me once and that would be enough. Like, I don't even know what to make of it with, I don't know how you would interpret that, really. Yeah, like 10 minutes left, close the fucking door. I'm being a bit more of a dick about this than even the comedy challenge. Like, oh, it's not like I'm trying not to laugh. If it happens, it happens. But here it's like, what do you gotta do? Oh, let me guess, there'll be another jump scare. Every time it gets quiet, it's like a fake out. Soft growling. You should be almost grateful to this thing. It did save you. How do you know that? How do you know gunshot will bring him to you? Like, at least this is the kind of scene you were waiting for. They just wait till the end of the episode to do it. Yeah, I knew that, dude. Quoting Bela Lugosi, like, this is not the time for this, dude. As if the headlights wouldn't help you. No, the car would help you because you could fucking drive away. Female privilege. You think she won't just run away and leave you behind the way that he would? No, he learned it from reading all those fucking books. Gibbering and shrieking. Is somebody gonna die already in this first episode? Almost would be a good tone setter, but too many series hold back on that too much, where like no main character dies ever, they're just always there. Right, so you start to, you know that everything's a fake out. This is like one of those Pulp Fiction type, or whatever, pulp drama type things. Like, they know by their own, you know what I mean? Like how would the characters know all these things or how it works? But they know it from fiction that they've read because they're fans of it, like especially Tick. So it's like, in Monsters Due on Maple Street from Twilight Zone, it's like, the kid's reading a book about the thing, and that's how he informs him about what's happening, through sort of analogy and things like that. So that has a certain value to it. That thing does look kind of cool, but that's maybe not the reaction that they were looking for with respect to a scare. And it's certainly taking a long time to deal with this. But now, before they stay in this area for another 100 episodes, which is why they, they're looking to find the dad, but some of these kind of pseudo jump scares that aren't really doing it for me too much. Kind of a cliche that the light is going to be their weakness, or the whatever. The light, or what else did they say? Yeah, they'll set a fucking forest fire and trying to deal with this. The last resort from a game like Don't Starve, where that's one way to keep the light on through the night or whatever. Wait, how did they get so many sources of light? Let me guess, another fake out jump scare. I'm kind of clowning this show a little bit. Or now the sun's going to come up and everything will be fine. If it's scared of light, we can burn it. Okay, that was kind of at least the sort of obligatory scene that we're looking for. Now they'll go back to normal. Let's go on a hunt tomorrow for your dad again, like nothing happened. Like, everybody almost dies, he got blood all over him, just another day and chilling out. This is just what we do, even though we are like tour guides or whatever. They keep saying these title cards of like where they are, but how much could be left of this? Only like 2 minutes left, so what the fuck? Or now do they end up in like some special place that's like... like they found it inadvertently through all that chaos that they did. Okay, interesting way to end. So now that'll set up the whole episodic nature that I'm talking about, where this sort of experience becomes normalized. So, not a particularly good episode, pretty bad pilot in general, doesn't really engage the attention the way it should, and it also doesn't lend itself to really being scary. So that one failed the challenge. We're doing this more so to introduce the formats, but I guess I was just looking for something scary, period. I was going to watch American Horror Story because I've always heard that's good, but it's not on HBO Max, so I guess I'll settle for these for now. I'll have to find a different one. So we rotate in this format. Like it's a double, it's kind of complicated. So every other day I do this series, and by this series I mean one or the other, and I'll keep rotating between them. So we started with a comedy, where we watch until it fails to make us laugh for a full episode. Then I watched a horror one, this one, until it fails to scare me for a full episode. Now the next comedy I watch, right, so the day after tomorrow I'll watch another comedy, and then that comedy, whatever, like a sitcom or something, right, that one I will watch until it makes me laugh. So as soon as I laugh once, I stop watching. And then after that, the day after that, like 2 days from that, I'll watch another horror series until it scares me, rather than until an episode fails to scare me, because like that's what this was. This episode failed to scare me, so therefore I stopped. Whereas that one is the opposite, where if I get scared at any point in any episode, I just stop watching the whole series and I move on to the next one, which almost seems like you're punishing it a bit unfairly, to the extent that it succeeded in being funny, so you stop watching, or it succeeded in being scary, so you stop watching, rather than rewarding it by continuing to watch. But whatever, I kind of like both iterations, so we'll do those two next time. I don't know what comedy series or whatever, just some famous sitcom. So the Big Bang Theory failed because it was like too much of a one trick, where it's just like, it's like, what do you call it? It's like a case where you're basically able to, I don't know. Well, it fell out now, but at least that's a good time for it to fall out, I suppose. It's a case where, it was like, all the characters are just nerds, so that's the joke. Like, we get it, but you don't need to be milking it that much, or beating like a dead horse, basically. And so, yeah, we'll decide what to do. So the point of this format is to give me a variety, because I haven't seen like any shows ever, so this at least gives me some sort of a chance to see them, even if it seems sometimes unfair to some of these shows. Like, that challenge was fair, because it's like, okay, if it's a horror show, it's got to scare me at least once per episode, even though I'm pretty resistant to that sort of thing. So, maybe it's unfair. And then the laugh one, like, it did survive episode 1, so if it's good enough, that's holding it to a high standard. So I kind of like it, but we'll see what happens. So I don't know what exactly to watch, though, next time, per se. Yeah, it's a very lackluster pilot, so that series is over. And then obviously we have whatever our main series going on. So this is just the whole thing. I was trying to indulge into watching shows that I've never watched before, which is like most of them in existence. So eventually we'll get down to some really good ones like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones and things like that. And this is the only way that I really feel comfortable watching them, because you're kind of like, you're doing it while you're driving, so I'd be driving anyway and listening to music or watching something anyway, so I may as well turn it into this where I'm reacting and I'm watching at the same time, and it's just kind of making the best of it, rather than like doing two separate times, like, I'll watch something here and I'll just watch it, and then I'll react to something here. Like, why not just combine the two? It seems to be better, because you only have so much time, and it shows you it's not the sort of thing I would normally do, right? I'm not going to have time to watch these things, or I wouldn't normally do that. But generally, this was not a good, I won't say it wouldn't be a good show just based on that, but clearly it was not a good recommendation. So, yeah, but at least I showed I'm not too desensitized to laughing, because that series, at least episode 1, did get me, and Sheldon was at least a funny character that way. So we'll decide what we watch the next time. And one thing that's annoying is when these episodes are so long. Like, that's even been happening with The Sopranos, because, like, okay, let's say it's an hour drive, and it's like a 40 some odd minute episode, like 48, 49 minutes or somewhere like that, right? So what happens is, if I do like a 10-minute intro and a 10-minute outro, like recap, then the episode is 40 minutes, you'll barely be able to fit it in, even with me not pausing it, so it can be hard to fit in even there. Whereas at least like the sitcom style, like The Big Bang Theory, at least that was like where you have, it's like, those are more like 20-minute style episodes, so that has a totally different vibe to it altogether, right? So that definitely has something to it. And beyond that, let me think, like, what are some big name series? Like, let me just list them off, that I haven't seen, that I have heard good things about, or that I would like to see eventually, or whatever the case may be. So Breaking Bad is one, right? And what do I know about it? Just the guy sells drugs or something. He's like a professor who also sells drugs. That's basically all I got, like a chemistry professor who moonlights as a drug dealer. It's just my assumption. I don't know the whole thing, but all right, so that's Breaking Bad. Then you have Walter White is his name, I know that. Then you have Dexter, about a serial killer who also works like in forensics or something. And then you have a situation of being able to see Game of Thrones. You have a situation of like the Walking Dead series, of which there's a lot, maybe too many. And then you have other ones like maybe any sort of comedy, which is kind of, I'm less high on those kind of genre things, right? I would be less into comedies than anything else. I'm talking about more so for like my main slot, if you're able to basically, like I'm doing Sopranos right now, which is at least partly a comedy, but at least it has some other depth to it than that. So what other ones are there, like dramas? I really don't know too many shows, that's the problem. Yeah, I can count on like one hand how many I've seen all the way fully, and even some of those I have to doubt. Like, The Mentalist, one of my favorite shows, but I still didn't see every single episode. I saw like 1 through like 6, 8, right, when Red John is beaten in a bullshit way that's completely unforgivable, and then I just stopped. So 6, 8, or really season 1 to season 3 would be adequate as well that way. I would love to do that, like show that series to somebody, right, and see their reaction and pretend like it ends at season 3 and convince them that it genuinely does, like they don't know any better, and see what they would think, because that would have been the perfect ending. And it seemed like that was what it was intended to be, either the end of the whole show or at least end of that particular arc and character, but then they just got greedy and wanted to recycle it and milk it for more views and things of that nature. And so, right, that could certainly be a consideration that I'm kind of surprised by. And then what else do we have to consider? Basically just I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, what shows have I... Oh, like The Wire, I've heard is really good. I have no idea what that's actually about. It sounds almost like something investigative, detective type stuff, or something like you're wiretapping somebody, or I don't know what it could mean. And then no, it's about guys who are building a wire for some internet company, so everybody can get service. I don't fucking know. And then what else? There's just so many shows these days now. Yeah, let's watch Fallout for the first, like, it is ripe for potential stuff to react to, but of course I don't like to show it, or I like to do it in this more long-form style as well. One problem that I run into is, again, I'd be more suited to pausing it, but I can't, or I wouldn't want to do that here, or I wouldn't have enough time really to do it here either. Or I guess I could space it out over multiple sessions for just one episode if it needs to be, which I've had to do that anyway for some of these. But like, I don't know, it's like somehow you're able to basically not care about whether you watch a full episode, just watch whatever amount that you want and really slow pace it like that, and you'd be fine, because whatever, as long as you're giving your long form stuff. So I guess in that sense I could pause it, but it's just not something I really have wanted to do, or it just feels more natural like this. But certain series are better at giving you moments to pause and talk, Like, for example, in a comedy, when there's the laugh track going, that would be a good time to do it. Or in even Sopranos is pretty well paced with that, like where there will be pauses and stuff to break it up. Whereas in certain series like Girls, it was just like wall to wall talking. They weren't giving me much time to do anything at all. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of comedy type stuff. Like what is one that I've heard good things about, like The Office or 30 Rock or something. And I've probably seen like certain scenes from some of these, but I've never seen like a full episode or anything substantial. You know, I always feel like comedy should be an ancillary element. Like any series can have comedy in it, but it shouldn't be like what the series is all about. Well, I'm not saying that either, but even like Psych is a good example. Like it is a comedy, but it also is a detective procedural type story, and so the comedy is kind of like a bonus on top of it, where it's the characterization of Sean in particular, who's just like this zany type of guy, who's always got these jokes and crazy stuff going on, Ace Ventura obnoxious style that he might be. Right, but he can get away with it. Everybody has to put up with it because he's just so smart and they need his help and stuff like that. Or like Monk, that was actually, Monk and Lane were two series that I almost was starting off this because of. I wanted to see Lane just because I saw like one clip from it, where it's like the girl getting addicted to a computer or something like that, before like the internet came out or something. You know, it's kind of precursor to that era, but Y2K moment. But something like Secret Something Lane or Serial Experiments Lane, I think is what it's called. It's an anime, so I'd want to watch that one at some point, and then I would also want to watch what was the other one I said? Monk. That's like a detective type series like that, kind of like a comedy in some ways, I guess, too, where it was meant to be even played by Michael Richards, so that shows you it must be a comedy, but it would probably be a little smarter than that. So yeah, that's what I love when people say the Seinfeld curse. He turned down Monk, which is a very well-regarded show, and then he ends up doing some similar one like that anyway, the Michael Richards show, which is kind of like that, where, you know, he's like a detective private eye trying to solve cases, and it's supposed to be funny. And so the point is that, you know, it's your own fault. It's not a curse. You're just kind of bad judgment that you turned down a much better series that's kind of the same thing, right, in Monk, which I've never seen, but that could be one that I check out. There's just so many of them to potentially look at. It's kind of hard to even keep track. Like, I don't know. Or I could just pick them at random, or if people suggest them. Like, my expectation for when I upload these isn't very high. Like, I don't really care. But the only thing that's objectively wrong is that maybe the audio, there's too much background noise, which I can't really help that. Even if I did get the lavalier mic, I don't know how much that would help, because I could get like a better recorder. I could almost do it on my computer. Like, I could just have my computer open and then use a mic with very specific settings, right? I could do this in any capacity. I'm just using the recorder because it's convenient or whatever, but right, like that's one objective thing that's wrong is maybe the audio is a little bit off and I just have to deal with it for now. And then the other thing is the fact that you're basically in a position to people won't like the fact that I'm not showing clips from the show, but I'll only do that if I like post a clip of it itself, like this moment that's like a highlight that I think, oh, this was a funny moment, or this was a good reaction moment, react harder moment. And so if it's a good moment like that, I'll make a clip of it. And since I have the timestamp to work with, I would show, like, you know, this is the moment that you, I'll show like a 30-second clip of that moment where I have like some good commentary or good reaction, and I'll show the video of the episode from that. But I won't do it for like the whole episode, like, you know, overall, because you really can't do it, or that's copyright issue. Or even deeper than that, it's like a case where you're basically able to not, it's very streaky. Like even these bigger channels have issues with that. It's like a fair use timer. You got to blur it out. You got to do all these workarounds, but ultimately it's like, I don't want to show that anyway. If you want to watch it, just watch the whole thing along with it, even though you have to suffer through all these shitty sounds. Maybe I feel like it's the kind of thing most people might not even notice or care about too much, but it's just a little bit annoying for sure that you have to deal with that.